what your official name is and what your title is.
Sure. So my name is Dr. Alett Coble-Temple, and the current Miss Wheelchair America 2016.
And what is your professional title?
I am a licensed clinical forensic psychologist.
Do me a favor, can you get the headphones in there?
Of course.
Pretty sure we're fine, but we'll just do that anyway. Okay.
So tell me a little bit about what Miss Wheelchair America does.
The Miss Wheelchair America is a national spokeswoman for people with disabilities across the United States. And my role is to advocate at a local, state, and federal level for policy, education, transportation, and housing for people with disabilities.
So is it for people with all different disabilities?
Yeah, the actual pageant is for women who use wheelchairs 100% of the time for mobility purposes. The actual role is to advocate for all people with disabilities as classified by the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Very, very cool. How important is accessibility? You know, most people have no idea.
That it's huge. I know that I am classified as being a person with a disability. However, I look at it differently. I become disabled based on limited access. So if I can't get in to a building or a house, it's not because I'm disabled, it's because that house or that conference room or that retail store has stairs. And so it's an issue of access when there is a ramp or an elevator or a lift. My disability isn't the issue. So access should be considered the disability rather than the person.
Wow, that's a good point.
It's amazing. Your parents are the ones who taught you that. I know that. I know that. So Ron, this guy that we're working with, is a little bit of a pioneer. And he is combining this home that is accessible for him with deep environmental contributions. You know, Ron has cerebral palsy, and so he's trying to build this sustainable green home that also is accessible.
And his plan actually is, he's thinking way ahead, because he wants to leave it for other people who are wheelchair bound in the future. So he's pretty neat.
So how important is that kind of, well, you know, where do you want to go with that? Like, how important is this type of a project?
Yeah, like this idea of combining green and accessibility seems pretty neat.
Well, it's incredible, actually, because in today's world, we need to think at so many different levels of access. And I think environmental access is equally important as physical universal design access. We are unfortunately disabling our environment without being green or engaging in sustainable living. So what Ron is proposing is really increasing access not only for people with disabilities, but he's creating housing that will increase access to food and water and resources that are unfortunately dwindling every minute that we consume so many products. And, I often talk about with my family how much waste we as Americans produce and how damaging that is to each and every one of us for the future. So I applaud Roar, and I really encourage the project to look at how they're addressing disability at multiple levels.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And what are your thoughts on Ron leading this? He's the one who's actually leading this effort. What are your thoughts on Ron doing it?
It's the perfect person, right? We need to showcase that people with cerebral palsy really can contribute to our society and have something important, and our ideas need to be valued and especially respected. I'll say this, about 4 years ago, there was a major road that collapsed in Baja, Mexico, about 30 miles south of the San Diego border. And it's like the Baja Dental Slide area. It was a major road to get from the border to Ensenada. They anticipated that this road would take years to fix. It may not be fixable at all. In Mexico, the engineer, the chief engineer, was a person in a wheelchair with a disability, and that road opened less than a year after it collapsed. So it's just an example of how at so many levels you need to really value people with disabilities and their ability to contribute to our economic viability.
Amazing
Yeah, that's
story.
a great
I know
story,
it.
wow.
Yeah, you can Google that to get the, yeah.
Very, very cool. What does this say?
Could you say?
Oh.
Just a really short statement about the project and Ron is a champion.
So do we want her to say this verbatim?
Well, it doesn't have to be verbatim, but
Okay.
just a real short thing. We don't want to put words in your mouth, but we want to put words in your mouth.
That's okay.
The words that he has written
Okay.
are, this is an incredible project. Most people have no idea Ron is a champion.
Okay.
Just that
Yeah.
idea.
Sure, I can do that. The is it the Rainbow Project? Okay.
That's the
Yep,
name, right?
yep,
Okay.
yep. That'd be perfect to say that. That'd be great.
Okay. The Rainbow Project is an incredible opportunity to combine universal design with eco-sustainable living. Ron is a pioneer and a champion for multiple communities.
That was great. That was so helpful.
Yeah.
That was
Sure,
awesome.
we're good.
Okay, do we want her to say this?
Yeah, I think one of the things we're doing, Alett, is we've talked to Ron's mom and the builder, and
Yeah.
the architect, and the mayor of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we all have them saying something like either we're going to build this house or help Ron build this house.
Sure.
Would you just say help Ron build this
Yeah.
house? That would be great.
Help Ron and his team build this house and make a dream a sustainable reality.
Oh, that was
We
amazing.
should hire her. I think.
Absolutely. Should hire you as a writer. I think we got everything. Thank you so
Should we
much.
ask her if there's anything? Yeah, is
Sure.
there anything that you would like to add that we
Yeah.
didn't talk about?
I gotta think. I think you asked great questions. I think what I would encourage the Rainbow Project to do is to keep moving forward, work with legislation to have these types of houses become the standard for Section 8 housing so that we can really put more governmental funding into these projects. What concerns me is that people with disabilities are not able to access Section 8 housing because typically it's in older buildings, they are accessible, and the government allocation is very low. In California, every day someone with a disability loses housing. They're either living in hotels and streets. It's a crisis that's horribly impacting our community. And so, is there a way that we can take this project and infuse support from our government to make a difference and increase housing that's sustainable for the disability community? And when I'm on Capitol Hill often, and the bottom line is money. And our representatives and senators, they need a reason to invest. And yet they keep cutting housing dollars. So my thinking is that if you combine environment with housing, maybe it will assist in getting bipartisan support for increasing housing dollars.
Interesting. I hope that's true. I hope that helps. That's neat.
So that's what I would say.
Very, very cool. All right.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your
thank you,
time.
thank you.
Thank you.
So I was telling
Hang on,
someone.
Steph,
oh,
let me just
hang
get
on.
one more, let me just get
Okay.
another exposure.
Okay. I was telling
I'm good, that's great.
I was telling my husband